Good morning, children. Hope you're all doing well. You're all staying at home and staying safe. And whenever you touch anything outside object, hope you're all washing your hands properly and sanitizing. Stay healthy, children. God bless you. So today we are going to start a lesson, Life Process, chapter 6 of class 10. So, in your lower classes, you have read about what are the differences between living things and non living things. So, this is a very easy question for most of you in your lower classes, I think, and most of you got full marks in that. Now, let us also read some criteria to decide whether something is alive. The most important criteria to decide whether something is alive is movement, that is locomotion or movement. All living things move without the help of any external aid. Some movements are easily visible like the movements of body parts. Some movements are not easily visible like molecular movements. The molecular movements in cells and tissue is necessary for all life process. Streaming movements of cytoplasm or Brownian movements of molecules, these all movements are not seen, whereas the movements like walking, running, raising your hands, opening your mouth, shutting your eyes, all these are seen. And what do you mean by the word without external help? For example, when you take the case of a car or a fan, they cannot move on their own unless and until we either switch on the electric switch or the engine, then only they can move. So they are not living things. So now you can understand that living things move. Other things also, living things grow, living things reproduce, living things respond to stimulus, living things respire, they excrete. All these are some other criteria by which we can know which is a living thing and which is a non living thing. So, in this lesson, as the name of the lesson, life process means all the processes, all the methods, all the activities that go on in a living organism is known as life process. So let us see what are the life process which are involved in living organism. Life processes are the basic processes in living organisms which are necessary for maintaining life. So if an organism has to live, it has to undergo all these activities, it has to do all these activities. The basic life processes are nutrition, respiration, transportation, and excretion. As you know, there are so as many systems, so many processes. For example, the digestive system, it carries on with the work of nutrition. Nutrition, what is nutrition? It is the process of intake of food by the organism and its utilization. Intake, ingestion, then mastication, digestion, assimilation, absorption, and egestion. So these include the nutrition process. And after the food is taken, it is digested, assimilated, and then the main part of food, for example, for carbohydrate, it's broken down into glucose, and that glucose is utilized by the body for various life process. Respiration, in lower classes we have learned, is the process of burning of food. Burning, even though it's written as burnt, it is oxidation of food, that is mainly glucose, in the cells of the body with the help of oxygen to release energy. So respiration is the process by which the food, the digested food, it is sent to all parts of the body or all the cells, and in the cells it is oxidized with the help of oxygen and the energy is released. Transportation, now the food which we take by through our mouth and it goes into our stomach, it has to be sent to all the cells, and that for that process we need a transportation system or circulatory system. And what is transportation? It's a process by which food, oxygen, water, waste products are carried from one part of the body to the other. So by transportation, the food, the glucose, or amino acids or fatty acids, they are carried to all the cells. Oxygen also, it goes through our nostrils, then it goes to the lungs, and then from there it is sent to all the cells, all the parts of the body. Water, and also the waste products. The waste products, if they are accumulated in the body, they will cause harm. For example, if you see your drain, sink, kitchen drain or any drain means नाला, अगर चोक हो जाए तो क्या होता है? So बदबू आती है, फ्लाइज आते हैं और बहुत सारे बीमारियां फैलते हैं. सो सिमिलरली द वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट्स आर ऑल्सो हैव टू बी कैरिड आउट फ्रॉम out of the body. Then for waste, carrying out of the waste products, we have another system, that is excretory system. Excretion is the process by which waste products are removed from the body. So excretion by which the waste products, there are so many waste products in the body. The main excretory organs are kidneys. Apart from that, we have other excretory organs like skin, by which the sweat is removed. Then the fecal matter is removed from the digestive system. Then the tears are also removed. Waste products, chemicals are removed from by tears. Then these are some of the excretory organs of our body. And you can see the images: excretory digestive system, respiratory system. The main organs are the lungs. Then we have the circulatory or transportation system, in which the pumping organ is heart, and there are the blue ones, the veins, and the red ones, which are the arteries which carry blood from the heart to all the parts of the body, and the veins which carry blood from all the parts to the heart. There are some exceptions which we'll go through later. Then there are kidneys, a pair of kidneys, bean shaped, which are dark red in color, and there are tubes, ureters. There is a urinary bladder, and there is an outlet, that is a urethra, and there are the blood vessels supplying to the kidneys. Apart from that, we have also a skeletal system, we have a muscular system, we have the endocrine system. So, but the major life processes are to be dealt in this chapter. Then the first one is nutrition. The most important, we have three basic necessities as human beings, we have three basic necessities. All other animals have the basic necessities like food, water, and they also need a shelter. Our basic necessities are food, shelter, and clothing. So food is a common for all organisms. Why food is required? We have read in our lower classes, food is required to provide energy to do various work. So food is needed by all living organisms, mainly for growth and repair, and also to maintain the body temperature. Then the intake of food is very complicated. It's very simple to complicated. In single cell organism, the entire organism itself engulfs the food and it uses it. But in other higher organisms, there is a separate system, the digestive system, which deals with the process of nutrition. So nutrition is the process of taking food by an organism and its utilization by the body to build the body for growth, to repair the damaged parts of the body, and for energy. So why we need food? For growth, to repair the damaged parts. So sometimes there are injuries. The injuries have to be healed. For that we need energy, food. If we grow means the new cells are formed. When new cells are formed, the injuries are filled up. And also during diseases we get sick, energy is lost, and that time also we need extra energy. Life on earth depends on carbon based molecules, and most of the food are also carbon based molecules. The outside raw materials used by living organisms are food, water, and air. So the food is mainly made up of three substances, three elements, that is carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So food is carbon based. So we can say CHO are the main components of food. And the intake of food, as we know, is very complicated and it's of different types. The modes of nutrition, the types of nutrition, how food is taken by organisms. The two main modes of nutrition, there are two main, they are autotrophic and heterotrophic. Autotrophic, auto means self, trophic nourishing. Autotrophic self nourishing type of nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition is the nutrition in which organisms prepare their own food from simple inorganic substances like carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. So autotrophic means the organisms prepare the food themselves. Prepare here, we don't confuse with cooking the food in the kitchen. In the kitchen, food is cooked, prepared, but in the organisms, autotrophic organisms, in the body itself, in their body itself, the food is prepared. That food we utilize. For example, in plants, they produce so many different types of products, fruits, vegetables, grain, and all, which they produce and we use. So the preparation of food in their body, and then that food is a part is utilized for maintenance for their energy, and the remaining is stored in various parts like leaves, fruits, flowers, and then we utilize it. And examples of autotrophic nutrition, all green plants and some bacteria. Then heterotrophic, hetero, other nutrition which depend on others. So is a nutrition in which organisms get their food directly or indirectly from plants, all animals, fungi, and some bacteria. So we cannot prepare food by ourselves. We take the food from plants or those animals which depend on plants, and then we utilize it. So all animals, fungus, and bacteria. So now we have seen about autotrophic nutrition. All green plants, they prepare the food on their own from simple organic inorganic substances, carbon dioxide, water, and in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. And heterotrophic, which depend on plants directly or indirectly. Directly, a carnivorous animals, a meat-eating animal directly, like a lion or a tiger, feeds on a deer, and it is eating directly the directly when the plant deer eats the plants directly, and a carnivore depends on the herbivore indirectly. So directly means an animal is directly eating the plants, cows, goats, and all, they directly eat the plants. And these carnivorous animals, they feed the grass eating or plant eating animals. So directly or indirectly, all depend on plants. Types of heterotrophic nutrition, there are three main types of heterotrophic nutrition. They are saprophytic, parasitic, and holozoic nutrition. Saprophytic, heterotrophic types of let us now come to heterotrophic nutrition, children. Saprophytic nutrition is a nutrition in which organisms get their food from dead and decaying organisms. They break down the food materials outside the body and then absorb it. Example, mushroom. Example of mushroom, bread mold, yeast, some bacteria. Mushroom, bread mold, and yeast, these are all fungus and bacteria. So they feed on dead and decaying. You must have seen, if fruits or bread or chapati is left outside during rainy season or any season, then you see black color thread like substances growing on that. That is fungus. Rhizopus, that is a fungus. Most of the schools we do that experiment to show the growth of saprophytic organisms. Or you leave your shoes, leather bags outside in moist atmosphere, then we see small dot like things formed on that, which is fungus. So saprophytic nutrition is the nutrition in which organisms get their food from dead and decaying organisms, not living organisms. Dead and decaying means सड़ता हुआ substances से अपना खाद्य पदार्थ लेते हैं. Parasitic, and first they release some enzymes, and then they are digested, and then they are absorbed. And for that they have the body like hypha, mycelium, which will absorb. Parasitic nutrition is a nutrition in which organisms get their food from living organisms without killing them. And then Cuscuta, orchids, sticks, lice, leeches, roundworm, tapeworm, plasmodium. Sometimes they don't kill them, but sometimes they kill them. So parasitic nutrition, they grow in a living. So when a parasite grows in a living host, host parasite relation we call that. So a parasitic organism, it may be a bacteria, it may be a fungus, it may be a virus or a protozoa, it grows in the body of an organism or on the body of an organism. So we have two types of parasite: ectoparasitic, endoparasitic. Ectoparasitic, which grow on the body, outside the body. For example, the ticks and lice. जानवरों में छोटे छोटे कीड़े जैसे ticks and lice, they grow on the body. And even in human beings, in unhygienic condition, in the hair, the lice, they are also ectoparasites. And Cuscuta, which is a plant which grows on another a plant, and with the help of sucking roots called haustoria. You can see in the middle picture. Cuscuta, it has haustoria, which are the sucking roots by which it sucks the nutrition from the plant. This is called an epiphyte. Epi means growing on another plant. It's also Cuscuta, the orange color things, thread-like things. That is the Cuscuta. And this is the mushroom which grows on dead and decaying organism. Then we have Plasmodium, that is a malarial parasite which grows in the body of human beings. It damages the liver cells, red blood cells, and it causes harm. It grows in our body and it causes harm. Sometimes it may even kill. That is about parasitic nutrition. Parasitic nutrition, mainly it grows on living organism, whether it's outside or inside the body, and then it causes harm. Holozoic nutrition is a nutrition in which organisms take food directly and digest and absorb it. Amoeba, paramecium, birds, fishes, and humans, they just they ingest the food, and then the food goes through the gut and then it is absorbed. And in case of amoeba, by help of pseudopodia, it engulfs the food and a food vacuole is formed, and with the help of the food vacuole, the food material is digested and then it is assimilated and absorbed in the body. Nutrition in plants. So in plants we have seen it is autotrophic type of nutrition, and the process is known as photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, we can define photo means it can be divided into two words. Photo meaning light, synthesis is a process or preparation. So we can define photosynthesis is a process by which plants prepare food by using carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. The food prepared is carbohydrate, which is stored in the form of starch. Oxygen is released in the process. That is why plants are very important for the survival of the all other organisms, because they give out oxygen. That is an extra process. They take in oxygen during respiration, that is no doubt. But during photosynthesis, that is during the presence of light, they give out oxygen. And that's why they are, you can say, the forests, these are all the lungs of the earth. They make the earth pure, they make the air pure. Whatever the gases which are made impure by the all other living things, the plants purify the air. That means they enrich the air. The air is made impure by excess of carbon dioxide by the breathing of all the organisms, but the plants only, they are the organisms which release oxygen. So the equation of photosynthesis, which is very important, children, you have to just learn the equation of the photosynthesis. 6 CO2 carbon dioxide, 6 molecules of carbon dioxide plus 12 molecules of water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, they give rise to the carbohydrate C6H12O6 plus 6H2O plus 6O2. Oxygen is also released during the process of photosynthesis. Plants not only synthesize substances like starch and cellulose, they are also capable of synthesizing all other compounds like proteins and fats also. Animals are not capable of synthesizing any carbohydrate. They have to depend on plants for the process. So that's why auto and hetero are the term. Auto means plants are self-dependent, whereas animals are dependent on plants. The process of photosynthesis can be divided into three main steps. They are absorption of light energy by chlorophyll, conversion of light energy into chemical energy and splitting of water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen, then reduction of carbon dioxide to form by hydrogen to form carbohydrates. And it can also be divided, the reactions can be divided into light dependent reactions or photochemical reaction, and then light independent reaction or dark reactions, which are known as biosynthetic phase. So during the day or the presence of light, chlorophylls are the molecules which harness or trap. Chlorophyll molecule traps the light energy. Then the light energy is converted into chemical energy, and then it is used for splitting of water molecule. Water molecule is split into protons and hydroxyl ions, and they travel through the electron transport chain, and then it is the oxygen is released. You can see the diagrammatic representation of the process of photosynthesis. A plant, sunlight, energy, then carbon dioxide from the atmosphere is taken by the plant, then water through the roots from the soil, then oxygen is released to the atmosphere again, and glucose is formed, and the glucose is stored in various parts of the plant. And the machinery, before going into the process of photosynthesis, we should know the machinery required for photosynthesis. What are the parts in the plant which help in photosynthesis? So before going into chlorophyll, we have to know about the leaves. Leaves are the food factory. In lower classes you have learned leaves are known as the food factory of a plant. So the leaf, as you see the structure, leaf has a flat part which is known as lamina, and it is attached to the plant by the help of a petiole. Then it has a leaf margin, the outer part, and then it has a midrib, and the petiole continues as a midrib, and the midrib branches and rebranches and produce the veins, and that is the leaf. And if we go into the internal structure of leaf, the internal structure of leaf helps the plant to do the process of photosynthesis. Now you can see the diagram. So here you can see there are barrel shaped cells on both the sides, which are known as the epidermal cells. Epidermal cells are covered by a wax cuticle. Epidermal cells covered by waxy cuticle on both the sides, upper epidermis and the lower epidermis. And in the lower epidermis, we can see even stomata. Stomata are equivalent to a nose of a higher organism. Cuticle. Why is there a cuticle on the epidermis? To prevent water loss, excess water loss by the process of transpiration. Then we have in between the upper and lower epidermis, we have the cells, which are known as the mesophyll cells. The cells between the upper and lower epidermis, which you can see, are the mesophyll cells. And the mesophyll cells are again of two types: palisade parenchyma, spongy parenchyma. In the palisade parenchyma, they are elongated regular cells which are regularly arranged. Here you can see only one layer, whereas you can even there are 2 to 3 layers of palisade parenchyma. Then there are the spongy parenchyma or spongy mesophyll, which are irregular cells and which are not tightly packed, but they are having air spaces, and the air spaces open by the stomata. This is a cell. You can see cellulose cell wall, cell membrane, and there is a large vacuole which pushes the cytoplasm towards one side, and the nucleus and cytoplasm. And in the cell cytoplasm, what we want to see is the chloroplast. Chloroplast is the main organ or main organelle which helps in photosynthesis. So now let us come to the structure of chloroplast. So chloroplast is a membranous structure. It is a membranous structure. It is bounded by 3 membranes. Third layer forms stack-like structures called as granum. Outer 2 layers are protective. They protect the chloroplast, and the inner layer, it forms stack-like structures called granum. So granum is a site for trapping solar energy. The granum is the site for trapping solar energy or sunlight. Then in between the granum, there is a substance, fluid filled portion called as stroma. And in the stroma, all the enzymatic or dark reactions take place. So you can see that the thylakoids or the granum, they form stack-like structures, coins placed one above the other like a stack of coins, you can see. So inside the chloroplast, we can see it's bounded by 2 membrane, outer membrane, inner membrane, and the third membrane, it forms coin-like structures which are known as granum, and granum are packed on one another, stacked on one another to form the granum thylakoid. And you can see a fluid substance, that is a stroma, and these thylakoids are connected to each other by means of lamella, tube-like structure, lamella. And inside the thylakoid, it is lumen, it is cavity. So you can see outer membrane, inner membrane, intermediate membrane, which is the intermediate membrane, then the inner membrane, which forms the thylakoids. And thylakoids are the places where the photosynthesis occurs. And the leaf structure is so designed that due to high water content within the cell, as the cells release water during the process, there is a higher water content in the cell, and outside there is low water content, so the water vapor is released from the leaf to the outside. And inside the leaf, carbon dioxide concentration is low, so outside carbon dioxide goes into the leaf. That's all, children, for today.
जमे हुए दाग, हार्पिक बाथरूम कनेक्ट पावर क्लीनर, तेज डिटर्जेंट के मुकाबले 10 गुना बेहतर सफाई। अब चमचमाता नया बाथरूम मुबारक हो।